Hey guys, here we go into a video. Kind of gonna be giving Keith Thurman some credit for his fight in his Pacquiao fight. I actually think that in the middle rounds he did a really good job of changing his style of attack and changing the way that he sets his shots up. Making adjustments to have some success. And to really give merit to the idea that he won like the 6th, 7th, or 8th round. I think it's 6 and 7, but we're going to kind of take a look at some of the adjustments that he made. And I just wanted to point this out that it was in the comments of my last video where someone said, or I was talking about in the last video, how Keith Thurman always steps really hard with his feint. And that makes it less effective, because if you know that that's the only time he's going to attack, then that's the only time you need to be worried. Everything else you do in the ring is up to you, right? But the only moment in the fight that you have to be present is when your opponent is stepping, right? And that's what Pacquiao had early for Keith Thurman. And we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit, but the guy in the comment section, well, Keith sure he did a good job with it later in the fight, saying that the Keith Thurman eventually got the rhythm for stepping with his punches, and that's what happened. But I kind of wanted to just make this video to point out to that guy that you didn't even watch the fight if you're going to make stupid comments like that you have no idea what you're talking about. So like anybody who comes to the channel, and says, hey, this is what happened, this is what I saw, make sure that you saw that. I don't know what that guy's name was, but it's kind of petty maybe to make a video about it. But I do want to make sure that you guys see that there's a difference in the level of success that you're going to have in a fight if you do these things versus you not do these things, right? Or if you fight with these flaws or you don't fight for these flaws. Now this can go for Amir Khan too, right? Because we've seen him countless times now get dominated because he always steps with his punches. And we're going to kind of see how Keith Thurman makes an adjustment. Anyway, it's 2 minutes in already. This is not a very long video. But let's go ahead and put it in the slow-mo a little bit. And I'll put it in real time. But notice Keith Thurman, I don't know why I don't have the beginning of that clip, but look at how he steps right here. And Pacquiao looks to control him, right? Steps, right? And he leans in, and Pacquiao feints him with the hook, right? But he's committing to all his feints. He's like, hey, are you going to bite on this one? Hey, are you going to bite on this one? Leaning in, and Pacquiao starts picking up on it. And that's how Pacquiao fought the beginning of the fight, is off of that same feint. Now, again, here, feint with his left hand, feint with his right hand, and then feint with his left hand, or throw a punch with his left hand again. But boom, boom, right? 3 feints there, and Pacquiao is able to get out of the way of all of the actual punch because of the fact that Keith Thurman steps, right? He's constantly moving forward and committing to his feints, and that makes them a lot easier to read because he's not using the information he's getting from the feints to set his attacks up. He's just assuming that the feint is going to work, right? And that's why you call it a feint versus a probe, and we'll talk a little bit about that after. But again, you can see, again, he's going to step here with his feint, Keith Thurman is, and then he's going to get punched in the face. Boom, by this great rocket right hook. Just a beautiful shot from Manny. Let's go ahead and put it in real time. But again, Keith Thurman stepping with his feint, right? He has no idea how Pacquiao is going to react. He's just expecting Pacquiao to react some way and for that to open up the right hand for him. And I do think he does land the right hand anyway, right? Kind of touches him, but you can clearly see Keith Thurman get rocked. His whole head like get blasted, whoop, right? And then move off the line. But again, that's because he's always stepping with his shots here, right? And step, boom, gets caught. And then Pacquiao's like, okay, I got this, right? Catches him again, because again, he's stepping with every shot. Even if it's not a real punch, even if it's a feint, he's stepping with it. He's not asking his opponent questions. He's not trying to figure out if he knows more about boxing than his opponent, or if he knows more about the situation. It's kind of like if you went into an interview, right, for a job, and you started telling the interviewer more about what you're going to do there than you think you know more about what you're going to do there than they do. And here Pacquiao says, nah, bro, this is your audition tape. Show me what you got. But Keith Thurman does do some really interesting stuff. I believe this is at the beginning of the 3rd round. Oh, no, the beginning of the 4th round. look at how he steps forward. He's going to be stepping with these shots too, right? Step. But look at where he fires this jab now. He's firing it at Manny Pacquiao's right glove. Step, boom, boom. Control that right glove. And look at how he keeps these gloves up before he gets into position to throw his punches, right? But he forces Manny Pacquiao into a defensive position rather than using his feints to keep Pacquiao countering him, right? Or, yeah, right at the beginning of the 4th round. But rather than to test the waters and be like, hey, what are you going to do? He knows that Pacquiao's looking to throw the right hook. So he starts controlling that lead hand so that he can land his punches. Because now Pacquiao has to say, oh, all of a sudden he's punching my right glove. I'm going to have a little bit of hard time countering with my right hook. I better think of something. But while he's saying that all in his head, Thurman's punching him in the body, right? Thurman's landing punches. And again, now look at the difference between the success that he is having here. And this is at the beginning of the 4th round, right? Look at the difference between the success he's having here and how he was having success in the beginning of the fight, right? No success to, yeah, looking like him, it's pretty good, you know? But look at what he's doing here. He's also not stepping hard with his shot, right? So the jab is going to come out, he steps, and he jabs, right? But it's not a hard step, right? It's just he's walking. But it's harder to time and to think about the fact that he's about to start setting his offense up, because usually when he's using his feint or he's stepping hard. It's a really hard feint. He's getting his weight in there. Whereas this time, he's just walking forward, controlling the glove, right? And Pacquiao doesn't know at what time he's supposed to be countering. He's having a very hard time timing him off of these attacks. And then boom, look at all the success he's able to have right there by controlling him, gets him to walk off the line a little bit, puts himself out of position, in line for the straight right hand, and then eats a couple body shots. And again, Keith Thurman showing that he's having a lot more success, not hard stepping with his feints, and just using little probes, I like to call them. Probes. So as he's moving forward here, probe, right? Probe. Hey, what do you think about these shots? Hey, what do you think about these? What do you think about this right hand to your glove right here, right? Boom, boom, right? But he's just using these shots to occupy Manny's mind, to make Manny think about what's going on, and also to find out what Manny thinks about what's going on too, because he wants to know what Manny thinks, because if he can feint and probe, he can figure out how Manny's going to react, right? He's already figured out that Manny's going to punch him in the face with the right hook, so he's changing his game plan, right? Rather than using the hard feint that he's getting timed on, he's taking the small steps and using the little probe, controlling the right glove, or controlling Pacquiao's right glove. But doing a really good job later on in the fight. Again, probing. Look at how he's moving forward now. Look at how different this is. And look at how Manny Pacquiao doesn't know how to react. It's the 4th round, and Keith Thurman's finally making an adjustment, which is good. Maybe he should have done it a little earlier. Maybe he should have done film study. I'm not sure. But he's making an adjustment, and all of a sudden, Pacquiao's back in what you would call the feel-out stage, right? Look at what he's not doing. He's not doing anything. He's just letting Keith Thurman back him up, right? Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? But Keith Thurman, and the reason that the fight looks like this right now is because Keith Thurman has information that Pacquiao doesn't have. That's why the fight is looking like this. That's why any fight looks like this. Is if one guy is going forward, it's because he has control of that fighter and he knows something that they don't have, or he knows something that they don't know, right? And that's how you land punches, right? Is that you know something that your opponent doesn't know. And if you keep landing it, like Mayweather, right? I remember anyway, I don't want to get into too many tangents. This video is already super long. But again, feinting and probing, and look at how he's able to bait using these probes, right? Probe, and then when he does give him a hard feint, right? He rolls the shot. He's able to get away from the hook, right? And then use that old style of Thurman attack to actually bait the right hook. He's all, okay, so now that I have control of Pacquiao, right? And that's exactly what this is, you guys. There's no difference other than him saying right here, he goes, okay, probe. And then he goes hard feint, right? And then what he's doing here, he's telling Pacquiao, okay, Pacquiao, I'm ready. Throw the right hook. Step, right? And he goes for his hard step, right? And feints him into throwing the hook. But he's asking Manny Pacquiao to do that, right? That's him doing that. He knows it's going to come. He just has to do the right thing in order to make Manny Pacquiao make that motion, right? And now, after you know your opponent's going to make that motion, you figure out how you're going to get away with it or away from it, you want to start setting your offense up off of it. And I'm not sure if Keith Thurman really gets to that part of the fight, but again, here he goes feinting, probing, right? Hard feint, right? And look at how he ducks after he shoots that hard feint, right? Bop. He knows the right hook is coming, so he's ready. He's touched the glove, getting ready for the right hook, right? And then instead of the right hook coming then, Pacquiao, because he doesn't want to get countered, he knows he's giving it away. He shoots a jab instead. But look at how much easier Thurman is having of a time getting close to Pacquiao now that he's feinting, now that he's probing a little bit, rather than with the hard feint, the hard committed feint where he's stepping with it all the time. There's just a massive difference. And look at how he's able to land this shot, right? Gets away from that counter, body shot, and then left hook right here. And it might not look like the greatest shot, but that's not the point, right? The point is that he's landing punches. He's outthinking Pacquiao in these instances, and it's because of the change in tactics. Now, again, this is a beautiful clip, you guys, of amazing boxing, okay? So we've got Thurman coming forward, right? And look at how he's feinting. He's giving him different looks. He's changing levels, but Pacquiao's doing the same thing, right? Pacquiao's feinting here, feinting this way, giving him different looks. He's all, oh, maybe I think right hand, or left hand, right hook, left hand, right hook. Which one, right? And then what does Keith Thurman say? He's like, hey, man, I can't think that fast, okay? You're stressing me out, bro. You're stressing me out, okay? Stop it. Touch his gloves a little bit, right? Feint him. Touch his glove a little bit. Control him. And now look at Manny Pacquiao. Is this the same Manny Pacquiao right here? Look at this one right here, where he's going crazy. He's like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen, right? How do you predict that? You don't. You don't waste your time. You just feint him. Control him with the lead hand a little bit, and then you tell Pacquiao, do something else, man. I don't like that game, right? You just ask him, and then he says, okay, cool. And then Pacquiao doesn't know what to do because that's where he wants to be, right? And the idea here is that because Keith Thurman already spent the time getting punched in the face with the right hook, this is already a problem that he's looking to solve, right? Whereas Manny Pacquiao says, okay, I'm landing the right hook, move on. What do I want to land after the right hook? So Pacquiao's thinking after the right hook, and Thurman is thinking after the right hook. But Pacquiao's thinking in the sense that he's going to land it, and Thurman's thinking in the sense that he's not, right? And because Thurman is the one that's controlling his opponent. He's the one feinting. He's the one probing, right? He's the one asking for the right hook. He's the one that is going to be in most control for dictating whether, number one, whether it's going to land or not, but where the next chain of events is going to take place, right? Because Pacquiao's thinking, I'm going to land it, and Thurman is thinking, okay, what am I going to do when he doesn't? Anyway, moving on. Again, controlling him. And again, he's not hard feinting with his jab, even though he steps with it a little bit, right? I love this, right? He shoots the jab, transfers his weight back to his back leg. He looks kind of funny there, but he's doing the right thing, right? How his weight's on his front leg, and when he shoots the jab and he goes to slip, he transfers his weight to his back leg and then slips that way. Beautiful boxing. Keith Thurman's a very talented guy. I don't always give him the credit that he deserves because, I'm so disappointed that someone so athletic and so, such a talent, fights with such a little boxing IQ. But anyway, looks like he's really picking it up here, to be honest. I'm really impressed. But again, feinting, right? Controlling Pacquiao. Feint. Hey, Pacquiao, what do you think about that? And he feints him. Pacquiao ducks down, right? And he goes, oh, that's what you think? And then he throws a right hand around the guard. But asks him to duck into that position. And this is all because he's controlling Pacquiao. He's controlling that lead hand, and he's making it very difficult for Pacquiao to find out where his free punches are coming. And that's what you want in boxing. You want your free punches. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and play through the little video. Controlling him, again, Thurman feinting, right? Controlling his gloves. And not getting stuck, getting countered by the right hook every time. But what does Thurman do? And you can kind of see it a little bit here. He gets a little bit off his game here. Threw 2 punches in a row, and now he's going to feint the jab. But what is he not doing anymore? Anybody guess? Anybody guess? He's not feinting anymore. He's not feinting. And now Pacquiao says, okay, he's not feinting. He's not controlling the space, right? Oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to get back to my Pacquiao shit here. Oh, okay. Boom. And then Keith Thurman comes in with the feint, throws a punch, but he's not controlling Pacquiao. He doesn't know how Pacquiao's going to react. He doesn't know what's going on right now. And Pacquiao says, oh, I can get away from this. Pop. Counters him. And then immediately after he counters him, Keith Thurman has no control over Pacquiao because he's not feinting. He's not giving him different looks. Pacquiao just kind of goes, kind of goes ape shit and starts landing a bunch of punches, a bunch of free punches, all because Keith Thurman gave up control. Now he's not feinting, right? He's not giving him different looks. He's just shooting his jab, right? But he's not controlling Pacquiao, right? He's not controlling that lead hand like he was before, where he touches that lead glove and says, hey, don't do that. Instead, he commits to an attack before he has control of Pacquiao. Pacquiao's able to set up a shot on him, boom, and counter him. But anyway, again, moving on. Keith Thurman doing a really good job here. Hard feint, but he knows the hook is coming this time, so he's pulling back and going in with his own counter there, right? And again, taking advantage of his own flaw, right? Does anybody remember what we call this, you guys? We call this craft, right? This is craft. It is, I don't want to say it's impossible, but one of the hardest things you can do in boxing is literally everything right, okay? It's freaking hard. It's really hard, guys. Boxing is incredibly difficult. Especially anyway, it's really hard. But when you can find a way to turn your flaws into offense against your opponent, or you can find ways to take advantage of your own flaws, as we see in this clip, stepping with the shot and then baiting him into throwing the counter, that's the perfect counter for him to walk him into a counter of your own. That's called craft, you guys. This is what Lomachenko does. This is why Lomachenko is so incredibly hard to fight, because we don't know how deep his level of craft goes. Because everything in boxing is a chain of decisions. Now in this decision tree, we have Keith Thurman coming forward, and his decision tree is step with my jab, right? Whether it's a probe, whether it's a feint, or whether it's a real punch, right? Step with this jab. Now the chain of decision falls into the place of Manny Pacquiao. Now Manny Pacquiao says, okay, how can I combat this jab? I can slip. I can move off the line. I can counter. So Pacquiao says, I'm going to choose the line of countering. Now Keith Thurman says, okay, I know he's going to counter. So now my chain of decisions is feint. Then when the hook comes, I'm going to pull back and then go in with my own hook, right? So now the chain is 3 deep, right? It's the feint, then Manny Pacquiao's counter, then Keith Thurman's counter, right? Now at this point, maybe Pacquiao has fought someone who can do this, who's done the same thing before. So now he needs to feint the hook, get them to expose their hook, and then come in with the straight left hand instead, right? And that's like craft on craft. Now, that could be the case if Manny Pacquiao has fought a lot of people who want to bait his right hook into their own left hook. Unfortunately for Pacquiao, usually when he throws his right hook, he drops you. So he probably doesn't have that level of craft himself. But in this the way that the theory works is that Lomachenko, if you go back to the Krolla fight, he was timing Lomachenko on his front foot. And now every time Lomachenko steps on his front foot, Krolla's trying to tag him. He's trying to land a punch or this or that. But because of the fact that it's not Lomachenko's first time seeing that, he already has like a dozen different ways to combat that, right? Slipping to the outside and then pivoting. Slipping to the outside, shooting a straight left. Slipping to the outside, coming with the right hook. Slipping to the outside, landing a left hand to the body. Slipping to the inside, right hook to the body. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it, right? Now what happens when one of his opponents looks to take away one of those attacks off of that? So now it's feint, right? The same position where he looks to counter, right? And now that counter comes, and the counter to the counter comes, right? But we don't know how much Lomachenko, how deep his craft goes, because nobody's ever been able to push him to that in a fight, Whereas we can see the level of craft that Keith Thurman is developing in this fight. We can see it because he spends the first 3 rounds getting punched in the face by the right hook. Now he's setting traps for that, so when he fights his next southpaw, he's going to be much more it's going to be a much more intelligent fight from him. He's going to have a bunch more ways to get free punches landed on his opponent. And that's going to make him an infinitely more difficult fighter to beat. Which is interesting because I think that I was already going to favor him against Errol Spence. Obviously, unfortunately for Keith Thurman, every time he fights a southpaw, he gets hurt to the body. Who goes to the body more than Errol Spence? So maybe I would just look stupid because Keith Thurman could just get dropped and knocked out by a body shot. But I do think that Keith Thurman is a little bit better at fighting southpaws than he is fighting orthodox fighters. Wow, what a ramble that was. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the rest of it. Feinting him, and again, once he has control of him, right? Feint, control. He's able to land free punches, right? No right hook there. Manny Pacquiao's not even ready to throw the right hook. He's not even in position. And then getting feinted, and then what does Keith Thurman do? He says, oh, no, don't feint me, bro. I'm feinting you right now, right? And controls Pacquiao. Feint. Change level, right? And he changes level, and Manny Pacquiao's like, oh, I don't want to get hit with a straight right hand. I'll just move away, right? But again, he's able to put pressure on Pacquiao, and now because of the pressure that he has with the feints, he's able to stand right in front of him, and because Manny Pacquiao's not feinting him, because he has control of Manny Pacquiao, because when Manny Pacquiao looks to shoot to the right, to the left, right, dip down this way, dip down that way, right, do his little feints and do his control of Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman's not afraid, because Keith Thurman is feinting himself, he knows where he has control of Pacquiao and where he doesn't. He's able to force Pacquiao into throwing this jab to control the space because Keith Thurman's getting too close and Pacquiao hasn't thrown any punches. And he's able to break all of Pacquiao's layers, right? Because he's getting close. He doesn't have any way to set his punches up. He's able to walk him into the straight right hand. Just a beautiful sequence, you guys. Let's just watch that one more time. Again, feinting. Control him, right? Feint. And then Pacquiao commits to an attack without setting it up. And every fighter in the world can do this. If you want to be a professional fighter, you absolutely have to be able to slip and counter every punch, okay? You just have to. It's the barrier to entry, okay? And Keith Thurman shows us that, yep, he's done the ABCs of boxing. He slips that jab and comes back with a right hand. And then again, more control of Pacquiao, controlling him. Pacquiao doing the right thing, saying, okay, well, let's start making him think about this left hand, right? Even though that he's not even close, right? Look at how far away he is. He's not even close to landing that left hand, but he's able to control Keith Thurman and say, hey, Keith, think about this, man. Stop punching me, but think about my left hand, right? But unfortunately for him, Keith Thurman doesn't have to think too long as Pacquiao's dipping to the inside, and as Pacquiao dips to the inside, and he showed this propensity against Mayweather too, to slip to the inside against the jab, and Mayweather was able to take advantage of it as well, but he's able to land a right hand there. And then again, more control, and then again, he's able to say, hey, punch, right? And this is the same thing, right? Hard step, hard feint, and he's able to bait that shot away from Pacquiao, forcing Pacquiao to commit his weight to an attack and then land his own offense. Now again, what I mean, and what I want to talk about, look at Pacquiao's weight when he shoots the jab. Let's just watch Pacquiao right now. Look at how his hips twist into that jab, right? He's stuck there. All his weight is on his front foot right now, right? All of it. It should be transferring to his back foot, but he's leaning forward, and his back leg is in the air. But all his weight should be on his back foot when he transfers his weight, but he's leaning into the jab, right? Kind of how you like lean into the punching bag, which is, I don't like to hit the bag like that, but he's leaning into it, and he's committing all his weight, and that puts him stuck on the line with Keith Thurman. And again, that's why you want to feint, you guys. This is why you want to feint, because you want your opponent out of position. You want your opponent stuck somewhere where you can throw some free punches at him and he can't even hit you. But again, doing a good job of baiting the hook, feint, and then he's able to feint, step forward, bait the right hook there, and then start coming in with some more attacks. But again, able to use the information that he gained from Pacquiao early in the fight by getting punched in the face a bunch of times, to set up his offense and to find ways to get Pacquiao out of position. Now again, you know, Pacquiao falling out of position here, He throws all his weight. He throws that right hook. In this position, all his weight should be on his back leg right now, right? But instead, he kind of doesn't turn it all the way over, and when he does transfer his weight back to his front foot, he kind of gets stuck on his front foot doing it. I'd have to see a better angle to say like what part of it that he's doing wrong exactly and point that out. But it just has to do with his weight transfer and then transferring his weight back to his front leg through his back leg. And it's looking like, I don't know, it's going to bother me now. Let's take a look. Let's look at that a little bit deeper. Okay, so the right hook comes. I think his feet get tangled, actually. I think that's probably the problem. Yeah, his feet get tangled, and he never actually turns his hip over, so that's why he gets stuck. But winds up catching him like that and getting him out of position. But anyway, as you can see, you know, Keith Thurman made a great adjustment in the fourth-ish round, the third, the fourth round, and started leveling up his game. You know, started fighting in a way that's, you know, a higher level of IQ. You know, layering his attacks a little bit better. You know, and not committing to his layers, putting himself out of position. Oh, that's like another one of like the more important ideas there. Is that when he's here, feinting right here, right, he's not out of position. But when he goes to with this leaping jab, this leaping cross here, he does put himself out of position, right, because he's committing to it. He's committing his body weight, right, and that's what you mean by out of position. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you know how to transfer your weight and have control of your body. But as you can see in this instance, he knows that the right hook is coming, so part of his weight transfer is not just shooting that cross, but also getting under the right hook as well. So that's why he's not out of position, because when he does make his attack, he is in position to defend himself from the right hook. But if he had been the first one to go here and did not know that right hook was coming, look at how close that thing comes to just rocking him, right? Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out Fouts Boxing. I got a lot of really exciting stuff coming up there. And for those of you guys asking about training videos and stuff, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be on Fouts Boxing. We're working on it right now. But I've got a lot of drills and a lot of stuff. And I'm kind of developing like a whole, like, well, you'll see, you guys. It's really cool. It's really cool. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the FoutsBoxing.com. I'm trying to write 3 articles a week, but it's a lot of time, you know. I guess I'm just being a bitch. I'll do more. Okay, thanks, guys.